I'm Ryan Milliken from Hardway Performance, and you're listening to the Diesel Podcast.
I'm Dimitri Miller with No Zone Diesel.
This is Anthony Reams from XDP.
This is Jaron Holder from Holderdown Performance.
Corey Willis from PPEI.
I'm Drew with D&J Precision Machine.
I'm Pinky.
And you're listening to the Diesel Podcast.
Diesel Podcast.
You're listening to the Diesel Podcast.
The Diesel Podcast. The one and only Diesel Podcast.
What is going on, Diesel Nation? We've got a special project for you guys this weekend. We're going to chat with as many of the DPC competitors as we can about their trucks, turbo, fuel systems, transmissions, their experience racing, sled pulling, dynoing, basically everything about the trucks. So we're going to be blowing you up. But before we get to it, we want to thank our sponsors. They allow us to bring these guests and the content to you guys. Make sure and check out ATS, BD Diesel, PPEI, and Dan's Diesel Performance if you're looking to do anything to your Cummins, Duramax, or Powerstroke. Zach, it's our pleasure to have you on the podcast today. I was really excited when I saw what you're bringing to DPC in a compound turbocharged 6.0. It's got us excited.
Thank you. We're just as excited to be here.
Did you guys make it to Colorado already, or are you en route still?
We made it here. It would have been about 7:30 in Colorado time. We drove straight through last night and had a pretty good trip.
Nice. How's the truck running here in Colorado, say, compared to where you guys are at in Ohio?
Well, so far today we've been trying to make some tuning adjustments, some odds and ends tweaks. Comparatively from where we are at in Northwest Ohio, making the trip all the way up here, we can definitely tell that there's a bit of a difference in the air up here. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been very happy this morning. We're just making some odds and ends adjustments, like I say, with tuning. Working on changing a few things with the nitrous as far as spool jets, so on and so forth. Just trying to get everything a real nice, happy medium. Get everything to react the way we want it to up here.
The truck itself, it's a gorgeous truck. I mean, it's super clean. I've seen it in the magazine, on social media, and I'm a sucker for clean trucks. But like, have you always had that truck? Was it something you picked up and wanted to build into a DPC truck, or what's the history with it?
This truck actually, I bought it back in 2012. It was a bone stock 6-liter. I bought it off of an older couple not that far from us that they had a camper and a dog, and they just used that to pull their camper around. And this is something that just has kind of evolved ever since I got it. When I got it, it had a bed topper on it, and I mean, it looked like a 70-year-old had outfitted it. Everything was pretty well plain Jane from the get-go. I had it just a short little while, and then we did an intake exhaust tunes, nothing crazy. The truck was spotless, rust-free, and I get a lot of people that are surprised of the fact that the exterior, the body itself, is all original body. It's just everything underneath of it that we've actually went through. Everything really got moving on the truck in 2015. That spring, or that winter between 14 and 15, we did a lift, tires and wheels, started messing around with a few things. We pulled it in the shop one day, and we were just kind of shooting the shit, and was like, hey, it'd be kind of nice to just do the bulletproof while, preventatively. So we pulled the cab off, and it's like, while we're here, it'd be nice to just do a non-VGT setup and, a set of injectors, some odds and ends. And it's like, well, the rest of the truck's really clean. It's like, it'd be really nice to just put a little paint on the frame, and, well, it ain't that many more bolts, so just take the bed off. And then, I mean, it just, one thing led to another, and it just snowballed into 2 bare frame rails sitting on our lift. And we started with 2 bare frame rails, Everything sandblasted. The frame on the truck is actually has an epoxy sealer, primer. It's got a GM carbon flash metallic black base coat clear paint job on it. Everything has been taken apart and painted on this truck at some point in time or the other. There's no powder coat on it. Everything is nice and clean. We put it back together originally with just a 366 single on it. Ran it around for quite a while. We were really happy with how everything worked. Then here last year, we were messing around. We were trying to get a few little odds and ends issues dialed in with David Ferguson when he'd built our tranny. There's just a couple little things that we were just trying to finesse a little bit more. In the process of doing that, we noticed that there was a couple little things I wanted to change. We pulled it in the shop, and I had a customer that had a truck in there that he needed a radiator right now, and he absolutely could not wait. It was a construction truck, had to be back on a job. We pulled the radiator out of my truck and put it in this customer's truck to make sure that they were ready to go when they needed it. And I was like, oh, I could do a nice Mishimoto radiator. And then once again, we needed one part, and then it snowballed into, next thing you know, the cab's back off, and we were building the compound setup that's on it now. Once we'd gotten everything back together, we were really pushing the limits of it. And here this winter, we were messing around with it just a little bit more and decided to take a few things apart preventatively and do some more building with. The original bottom end of the engine was never touched until this winter. At this point in time right now, the engine itself, I mean, it's completely built top to bottom, front to back. Everything in the driveline of this truck is ready to hold much more power than what we're making. So we're kind of curious to see where this thing's going to go this summer.
We were chatting a little bit, about the truck and the competition and everything, and you guys did a ton of work on this truck. Basically everything you guys, could, from the compound kit to, pretty much everything else. How long did it take you to build the compound set for this truck?
The compound setup itself, originally, when we first put that together, the truck itself was apart for, I'm going to say, a month, but our biggest problem was just getting time to dedicate and stay on it when we were trying to balance everything else that was going on. All in all, with building the piping, doing all the plumbing, the brackets, the fitment, whatnot, we had pretty well, give or take, just say a week in doing it, in the evenings when we were actually working on it. The small crumb work of it, the fitment, the fine details, the getting everything where it looks nice the way it should. There's some time in that, and then there's a lot of times where we thought, all right, this would look better or fit nicer if we had this elbow or a V-band here or this or that. So then we also had that little bit of downtime in between ordering stuff and getting it around before we actually could have everything fully assembled and ready to go.
That's what's so impressive about this truck, is that the detail, and it comes through so well just even in a picture, is the amount of detail that you guys put into this, with the exterior, but then also, the compound kit, making it look nice and appealing and has that wow factor to it.
Mm-hmm. This truck, when we started taking stuff apart, it was one of them things where we always have people that come in the shop that are older farmers or guys that are used to, like 7.3s or stuff like that. and they always complain. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I hate these trucks because you open the hood and there's so much garbage in there that you can't even see an engine. There's not even an engine in there. There's too much stuff." Well, the thing about our truck that we really get a lot of wow factor from is whenever somebody comes up and we open the hood, they're like, "Oh my gosh, we can actually see an engine there. There's actually something there." It's that engine right now. I mean, it has what it needs to run and do what it needs to do. We don't have all of this, accessories. We don't have all the accessories on it. We don't have all the plastic shrouding or this, that, and the other. It's kind of like looking under the hood of an older truck that you open it up and, hey, this is what's underneath there and what makes it go, and and that's what we've got. We've stripped out a lot of odds and ends things, like with the cooling system. We always have guys ask us, what'd you guys do with the degas valve? Where's that reservoir at? Well, there isn't one. We pulled a brand new Mishimoto radiator out of the box and took a hole saw to the top tank and welded an aluminum neck and put a normal cap on there, and then just put a little overflow bottle down on the inside of the horse port. It's odds and ends, things like that. We don't have a big, bulky HVAC box hanging out way into the engine compartment. If you look in the pictures, we still have a fan in there and everything else. The truck right now does not have air conditioning. We did remove the pump and the condenser and those lines, but we still have the truck still has heat, defrost, everything else just like an older one would. We would like to find a way to reincorporate that, but it was just one of them things where the truck doesn't get drove as much as it used to, and that was kind of one of them things where when we were just trying to eliminate everything and spruce stuff up, that we took a sacrifice and got rid of that. Like I say, there's so much room underneath the hood of this truck, now compared to what there is in any other Powerstroke you open the hood up and look at.
Yeah. You might want that AC though this week. I think it's supposed to be in the low to mid 90s, so it might get a little a little rough out
I feel like this week driving around that's probably going to be the time that I regret taking that off there.
Now, when it comes to like drag racing, sled pulling, things like that, is that something that you've always been into and have done, and have done that with this truck, or is there kind of one side of it you really gravitated towards on the performance and racing aspect?
As far as everything in a whole goes, we don't have where we're at a huge amount of drag race, track access unless you want to drive quite a ways. There's always guys that, go out on this back road here or there, drag race, so on and so forth. But where we're at in Northwest Ohio, we are in a very, very densely populated truck pull region. This truck in particular, we haven't done a whole lot with. However, we've put together a handful of other trucks that were just strictly sled trucks. We just sold this winter the truck that we were using for sled pulls, and we'd had that probably 8 to 10 years that we had been doing odds and ends sled pulls with. I feel like we're out here as long as we don't have any issues with the truck throughout the week, that this truck would, the way it's set up, so on and so forth, that we should do pretty well in the sled pull portion of it. The drag race, we do have the disadvantage of the fact that it does have a little lift. We do have a little bit bigger tires. A lot of these other guys that are coming out here, for this competition, a lot of those guys have a lot more drag race based, platform, so on and so forth, than what we do. But regardless of which, we're still going to give it our best shot at all the events.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm really excited to see all the trucks compete, but yours grabbed my attention just with the detail and how clean it is, and 6-liter stuff. With the podcast, we've been getting a ton of guys asking about different topics with 6 liters, injectors, turbos, things like that, and they're gonna love to see your truck. Take a look at it. Go on social media. Check out that engine bay, and we'll be pulling for you. So, we're excited. We wish you the best of luck. Appreciate your time today, and hopefully don't regret that AC delete too much this week, and have some fun.
I'm going to be sticking close to the nearest truck, or the truck that we all head out with, to stay nice and cool.
Awesome. Thanks again, Zach.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Don't forget, Diesel fans, make sure and check out ATS, BD, PPEI, and Dan's Diesel Performance if you're wanting to upgrade your truck for towing, racing, sled pulling, just make a little bit more power. Just check them out on social media on their websites. Until next time, keep the shiny side up.